but I just had to announce I am a yeah. I just knew that I needed to go back. It made me realize that life is incredibly short. Then I started applying for colleges and I didn't tell anybody. I announced I was going to college on the internet. PV Panthers. So, a lot has happened since you've last seen me. I am a panther now. I have been working on catching you guys up editing wise. Yes, I should hold the mic in this hand because I am now a student of Prairie View A&M University. Yeah, let's dive into this journey. If you guys followed me, you knew that I was in technical school. I went to a small technical school and I was going to LPN school. When I first got out of high school, I did not want to do the college thing. I had gone to school for 2 summers in a row and 2 straight school years. So I did my sophomore year when COVID hit. I did my junior year. And my junior year, the summer, I did CNA school. Then I went into my senior year. And I had lots of health issues during my senior year, which you can probably see in this video. After senior year, I had summer school and I did the summer phlebotomy program, which I did a morning in my life here. So I went to school back to back to back. I did not want to do the college thing. I thought that my life was just going to go in a different direction that did not involve college. So I didn't even apply to any my senior year. Did not.
Are you serious?
I knew that I was going to go to trade school. That's what I wanted to do. I was like, college, ew. And it just became clear to me that I needed to go to college. When people ask me, I said I take a gap year. I don't mean that I took a gap in education because I was in school the whole time, but I was spinning my wheels. So now that the gap of spinning my wheels is over, I decided to go to college. So many pieces and parts played into this, but I needed to go back. It was April of 2023. I was about to do finals for LPN school and I hated it. I had school every Monday and I had 2 jobs. So I had school from 8 to 11 something and then 12 to 3 every Monday, and then I had online classes and I just did not like it. I dreaded Mondays. I always watched the Chiefs play on Sundays. So it was like that, I got to go back to the grind. And it was just not where I wanted to be. On the final day of classes, our LPN teacher, his name is Dr. Green, he said, some of you don't even want to be here. You really want to explore different routes in life, but you're too scared to make a move. And he was like speaking straight to me. He was like, some of you are in this for your parents, not for yourself. Some of you, that part really wasn't for me. He was just like, you don't even want to be here. Like, why are you doing this? I was exactly. Then I was in the car, me and my homeboy Aiden, which you can see him in this video, Taco Tuesday. We were just talking and I was like, you realize you're living my dream? And he was like, what are you talking about? You are literally in school in a different state. You have friends. You have life, you enjoy your life here. That's what I want to do. I want to go out of state. I want to flourish. I want to make friends. I want to enjoy my life. You're living my dream. And he was like, well, why don't you just do it? And I started thinking, why don't I? So I did. I applied at a couple different places. PV was my top choice. One school just no longer an option because of some of the people that were also going to be there. So I just had to cancel. Then August hit. My cousin passed away in August, ended up getting into a car accident, and that deeply affected me. He went to Augusta State. I think they changed the name of Augusta State. I don't know what it's called now. But when he went, it was Augusta State. And he didn't finish college, and he was the funny cousin, the cousin that everybody keeps in touch with. There's so many girls in our line, but he's like one of the only boys. I think there's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 boys in our line, if that makes sense. He really was just a ball of fun. I miss him dearly, for sure. There's still days that I think of him. I remember talking to him on a Friday. I was texting with him about going to a K-Camp concert. On Monday, my dad had called me and asked me if I was at work, and I said no. And he told me he needed to tell me something, and he told me that my cousin had passed away, and I was just in shock. I wasn't processing. We had his funeral in September over Labor Day weekend, which was so weird because my mom and dad got married over Labor Day weekend. They're divorced now, but it was just like eerie, if that makes sense. Some of the family members that I had seen at his funeral, he died in my grandma, who he was really close with. My dad's mother passed in 2013. So it was like this weird 10-year gap, and I hadn't seen some of my uncles since 2013, some of my cousins. I met some cousins I didn't even know I had. When you see family members you haven't seen in a while, they like to ask you questions like, how's college going? How's this going? How's that going? And I made a change. I knew I didn't want to do LPN school anymore, so I didn't go back the next semester. After I took my finals in April, school was out for the summer, and I wanted to do the CMA program, which is a certified medication aid, so that I could pass medications. I even paid for the program, and they told me last minute that they weren't going to have the program. So I had literally a semester off. I was working, stacking my bread, and recovering from a situation that happened that we won't get into. I'd seen a lot of family and they were asking me, hey, what's going on? Hey, what are you doing in life? How's college? And having to tell people who want to see you win that you're not winning, that you're not where you want to be in life 10, 20 times over. And my dad has a bigger family. So I was telling lots of people, oh, I'm just taking a break right now. I want to go back to school. I want to go. And I kept hearing myself over and over in my head, I'm thinking about going to school. I want to do this. I want to do that. Then do it. Why don't you? Like my homeboy said, like, why don't you? I really had to make a change. My cousin, he was so full of life. He always said how he wanted to go back to college. He wanted to pledge. He wanted to do the whole nine. He just wasn't finished living life. It made me realize that life is incredibly short and you must seize the day and take advantage of every opportunity. It also made me realize that his story wasn't over and he wasn't done. And I didn't want my story to be done and I wasn't finished. Not that you're ever going to be all the way finished, but I knew I wasn't finished. I knew I still had so much I wanted to do in life, and college was on those lists of things I wanted to do. And not that college makes or breaks you, because my father didn't go to college and he out earns a lot of college people by working a blue collar job. So college isn't everything. That's not what I'm trying to say. But in healthcare, it's a lot and it matters. And that's the field I want to go into. I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be in life, and that situation definitely pushed me to do more and to work harder. Just because I had a gap in where I wanted to be in life, my dream wasn't over, and not to give up on the dream. After we buried him, and it's ironic because we all were supposed to wear purple to the funeral, and I had tried to find a purple dress forever. And I don't know, it was something about the purple in his funeral and the purple in Prairie View, like all signs were leading to the purple. I even made this little like a memory box with our picture and everything, and flowers from the funeral. I love white flowers, like white roses. His job had sent this bouquet to the funeral home and this beautiful crystal vase. I feel like everyone still has their days. Grief is not linear. I took my time and then I started applying for colleges, and I didn't tell anybody because I just felt like it was my dream that I had, and I didn't want to tell anybody before I was ready to open it up and let the world see it. I applied for Sam Houston State, University of Houston, and Prairie View. And Prairie View was my top choice. I also told my grandpa, and I had told him that I was applying, but I didn't tell him I got in for a long little while. I remember going into his house one day and I was like, I need to tell you something. I'm going to go to college. And he was like, oh, in August. And it was December at the time. And I was like, no, in January. Like, I'm starting a semester. I'm not playing around. It's time to go. But my grandpa was like, I've been praying ever since you told me about Prairie View and you told me top choice. I've been praying and I'm so happy for you. And I needed a change of space altogether. I did tour U of H. I really like a smaller feel. I want to know the kids in my class. I did not want a lecture hall with 300 plus people. That I wanted a smaller, somewhere I could feel okay. I graduated with a class of 265 maybe, and there was only 1,000 kids in my high school. I hear Texas high schools have 1,000 people in the graduating class. Like there might be 4,000 kids in the high school. Let's hold up, pump the brakes. And some people don't like PV for that reason because they feel like it's one big high school. But I'm okay with that. Like I like that feel. I toured Sam Houston State. That was the first time I went on a college tour and took anybody. And of course I toured Prairie View. My tour of PV, and I was like, it stinks here. I don't know what it was, but I guess they had a ditch. I really wish I would have filmed that day. I didn't take anybody with me to the college tour, and I wish I would have. When I first saw Prairie View, I was like, I don't know about this. It ended up being my top choice, and obviously, I go there now. Cue the merch. So I applied, and it took a very long time to hear back. I remember when I found out, I was literally in Ross in my hometown with my mom. I was talking to her. I had checked out first, then she checked out. And then I got this email from my phone, and it said, Office of Admissions, Prairie View A&M. Oh my goodness, I opened it up, almost lost my stuff in Ross. I was just so excited, and I knew that I was going to be going to college. Prairie View is really slow. But once I got in, I was so happy. I remember FaceTiming my sister and I screen recorded and I was like, I have something to tell you. And I was waiting and waiting to hear back from Prairie View. I applied to a couple different schools in Kansas. I applied to KU, but I knew I didn't want to go there. Some other places, they weren't my top choices, y'all. And I wanted to go out of state, to PV specifically. That was in October. So from October forward, I started stacking my bread and preparing to go away for college. And I didn't even announce I was going to college till December. In my post, I just acknowledged everybody because so many people had helped me through this process and had helped me just see it through. My family even came for November and Thanksgiving. I let them know, like Christmas around there too. I should have told a lot of people sooner. I just was scared and weary about what some people would think. So forever to tell my best friend because I was gonna miss her and we're such good friends, but don't even worry. We're still close to this day. Like we still talk and everything, FaceTime multiple times a day. I almost didn't tell my dad because I was very nervous. I'm from a smaller town. A lot of people I knew were going to be happy for me, but sometimes people can fake happy for you and be envious or have ulterior motives and intentions. I know people sometimes get on the phone and play telephone about other people. Some of the things going around once I did announce were, how does her family afford to pay for this or that? She should have came here, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people were happy for me and oh my gosh, I appreciate them so much. But you always have the haters in the background. But that's okay. They cheer me forward too. Clock it. The day I went to surrender my Kansas license and get a Texas one. Y'all, I could scream, shout, and tell y'all all about it. I'm freaking hoarse, so excuse it. It was a time. A time was had. Anyway, this is my third trip to the DMV. Every time I come, I try to surrender my license. There's something always wrong. I'm always missing a document. I always leave a passport. It's a hot mess, but I'm here to tell you that persistency pays off because I'm gonna leave the state with a license today, and I don't feel bad at all about surrendering my license. I got to vote in Kansas and do all that, so it was perfect timing. Persistency pays off. I don't know what you're working to or towards today, but it's coming. It's coming. Hang on in there. It's coming. Came down because my cousin invited me to homecoming in November. I finally surrendered my license. I remember telling this one guy, he's from Houston, and we were tight at the time, where I was like, I have to tell you something. And he was like, what? Never mind, I'm not going to tell you. Like, I'll just wait. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you. I remember it, like we were sitting in this parking lot. We were going to go ice skating. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to PV in January. And he was like, PV as in Prairie View? I was like, yeah. And he literally just put his hands in his head like this in my car and was just like, he didn't speak for like 5 minutes. Some people were shocked, very, very shocked. It was just like, oh, I'm leaving my friends and everything I've known. But now I will do a separate video on PV things, but I'm just going to briefly talk about why I chose PV instead of U of H and instead of Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State is in the middle of nowhere. When I looked for schools, I wanted to be in the Houston area because that's where I really liked. First, I was looking at Dallas. It was just really SMU that I found, or DBU, and those or Baylor, and out of state Baylor. And Waco's in the middle of nowhere too. I wanted to be around a populated area. Now, Prairie View is not populated, but it's just a short drive down to 90 back to Houston. When I searched up top nursing schools in Houston, Prairie View was on the list, University of Houston was near the top of the list, and so was Sam Houston State. They all had really good nursing programs. I toured all of them, settled on PV. I went to a predominantly white rural high school in a smaller area. I just was not used to being around kids who looked like me. I was in honors classes, and a lot of the times I'd be the only person of color in a classroom, and I wasn't used to seeing my peers. Now everybody in the class looks like me color-wise. It is a total swap. I also chose Prairie View because I wanted the HBCU experience, given that I didn't even go to inner city schools in my hometown. I know what it is to go to white school, if you will, and now I'm getting a hefty dose of what it is to go to a black school. PV is rich in history. Prairie View also has a lot of wildlife that I was not prepared for. I watched a couple YouTube videos about some people's experience at Prairie View, but there's still a lot I didn't know. We're going to get to that in another video. Just stay tuned for it. I really wanted a different experience, and I wanted to go to school with people who looked like me. I never had a black teacher before. In the high school I went to, well, there was one Hispanic Spanish teacher. I give them that. But I never personally had a black teacher, male or female teacher. I had Sunday school black teachers, but I had never had an educator black before in all of my K through 12 education. So I wanted to experience that. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the teachers at Prairie View are Indian or other races and ethnicities. So just don't think that you're going to go to PV and it's just going to be black teachers galore. They have a lot of black staff, but I was even told on our tour, like, you're not going to be able to understand some of your teachers. And that was the case. Like, some of my classes, y'all was squinting to hear. I'd be like,
they change very, very quick. But thankfully, this one did not, and as a result, all of you get vaccinated, when you were younger, right? And then you don't get it anymore.
it was just time for me, y'all. I have really enjoyed it. I'm only one semester in. It was time for me to make a change. I'd had a really rough summer. I talked to my homeboy who was right where I wanted to be. For my friend to say, I was telling her I was going to go do online school and move to Houston and then come back and start again. She was like, so you doing all this so you don't have to go to college? Yeah, who wants to do college? Then less than a year later, I made a complete swap. I was like, what am I doing here? I can't do this anymore. And my mom held my hand right through it. There was so many days and nights I would cry and I'm just like disappointed in myself, disappointed in my choices. I wasn't where I wanted to be. Here's the deal. I've been going through it lately, and oftentimes I feel like too blessed to be stressed. I have so many things to be happy about that I shouldn't feel sadness. But the truth is, nobody is immune to sadness. All the scriptures in the world about Thanksgiving, rejoice continually, pray always. Like, I have that one hanging up, and this isn't Bible, but happiness is a heart posture. Like, we either make ourselves happy or we make ourselves miserable. And I don't know what I'm doing to make myself miserable, but I lack joy. And my first name is Joy. I've had people tell me, oh, if my name was Joy, I'd be happy all the time. There is not a thing that I feel like I've struggled with more here in the last year than joy. And I don't know what God's trying to teach me. So what I've just been praying over myself is what is for me will be for me. I feel like I need like a happy pill or something. I've been praying, Lord, be my emotional regulator. I'm in a stage in life where I feel like I'm just taking off and flourishing and getting there. I'm not 100% there, but I'm getting there. It's just such a blessing, and it has really matured me and developed me to go away and stand on my own 2 feet. When I first moved to Houston, I didn't have any plans. I wasn't going to school anywhere. Now that I went down there with a plan, everything was so much better. I have so much college advice that I want to film for you guys, but one day at a time, one video at a time. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe. Follow me on Apple Music and Instagram. I am most active on Instagram. Also, if you want to see what's up here, follow me on Pinterest. And yes, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're thinking about going to college, I would definitely encourage you to research it a lot and make sure your choice is financially suitable for you. I really like the school I go to, but it is not affordable currently, especially out of state. But I'm trying to fix that. Don't you worry. I'm still in the process of declaring residency currently. Prayers up for that, y'all, because if we can save literally $32,000 a year, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? And thank you to all of the people who have supported me along the way. I appreciate it so much. Bye, guys. Love y'all.